Good morning, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Going to give it a few minutes as I do. All right, got a thumbs up. See some folks in the chat. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Give it a few more minutes. Hello. All right, hello. Good morning from sunny California. Hello, Sandra. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Hi, Michelle. All right. Hello, Cynthia. I am going to get started. Thank you all very much for being here this Sunday afternoon. Hello and happy Sunday, Rosalind. Hello, Michelle. Tracy is showing off. Tracy says, happy Sunday. It's 94 degrees. Showing off. Linda, good afternoon from Florida. Judith, okay. Weather is heating up. I am in Myrtle Beach. I actually have the ocean above my computer, my laptop, and it was cool this morning, but I think it's warming up. So I'm happy to be here, explain some of the stuff that I'm doing here. Um, all right. Hello, the Mona Lisa from Greensboro. Are you in Charlotte? So my tiny house is outside of Charlotte. I'm about 45 minutes outside of Charlotte in a small um, little city or a rural city. But yes, but I'm not there right now. I'm actually in Myrtle Beach, so I'm in South Carolina. But my house is in North Carolina. Welcome from Greensboro, Bonaire in the Dutch Caribbean. Well, hello and welcome. That sounds beautiful. I'll have to look that up. Let me write that down so I can look that up for a new place to visit. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate that so much. I shared some pictures from Danae and Blanc in Charlotte that happened last week, so thank you very much. Hello, hello. Yes, I was, the Mona Lisa is saying she remembered me from the Tiny House show years ago. So my first, um, um, uh, um, why can't I think of my word? The first time I was on HGTV was 2015, when I first built my house. And then I've actually been on two times since then. So HGTV, I'm a fan of HGTV and grateful for the exposure that it has provided and the opportunity to participate in their series. Hello, Teresa. Yes, it is chilly. So I was just saying I am in Myrtle Beach this weekend, and I went out this morning on the beach to catch the sunrise, and it was chilly. I had taken my little blanket out and walked through the beach, but it walked on the beach. It was beautiful, but it was chilly. All right, let me do my kickoff, and then we'll get started. chatting. So good morning or good afternoon, depending on your location. My name is Jewel Pearson, and this is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. This is Creating Home, a tiny house series, and this segment is the What's Your Question segment, where I'm answering frequently asked tiny house questions, and we are spending time in community just talking about all of the things. The second segment that I offer is are the conversations on intimate spaces, and that is where I'm interviewing guests in and around the tiny house movement. As I introduce myself, I like to say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And once this video goes live, you will be able to find links to schedule with me in the video description below the video. And as I'm doing all of that, I serve up a lot of representation in the movement along the way. I always say I want us to be able to see ourselves in this movement, talk through the challenges we have, but also see ourselves and be part of this movement. It is my intent to build figurative and literal community that is inclusive and accessible. And I hope that if you find this information and the video helpful, that you'll like it, you'll share it, and subscribe to my channel. And also turn on the notifications so that you'll know when content is available. All right, that's my intro. Thank you all very much. All right, let's see. I saw a couple of questions. The Mona Lisa, you're asking, do I have a tiny house company? So the work that I don't have a company that builds tiny houses, but the work that I do is around advocacy and consulting, this segment of sharing, and I consider this education, the work that I do on YouTube. So I do have a company, but I don't build tiny houses. I can consult with builders to help people who are interested in building tiny houses. I did partner with a builder many years ago, but that is kind of some of the work that I do. And I'll talk about some of the other work that I do in just a few minutes. Excuse me. Good morning, Louise. Oh, excuse me. Grand Rising. Welcome from Atlanta. Can I show you all my view? I probably could through my phone. I got to figure that out. We'll see if I can do that before this segment is over. All right. So some follow up on some of the things that I promised to provide this weekend. Something has happened. So I had some homework from last weekend. I do actually have a couple of things to talk about, tiny house related to share. And then just some conversation stuff like we do. So I'm going to share my screen. So I promised last weekend, one of the things that had been asked of me was to put together some in-person meetups. And I promised that I got a date together for Charlotte, and I promised that I would share that. And so that is what I am sharing. The date for the community meetup, community conversations in Charlotte is going to be November the 12th, 2023. It is from 1 to 6 p.m. And I am getting ready to drop the link to get tickets for the event in the chat. This will also, and I did share a post yesterday here on YouTube, so the link was there. This will be on my social media page on Instagram. I'm having trouble with my Facebook page. I had some hackers take over it and I haven't gotten it back yet. So I may share it there. I'm not exactly sure. But this event is going to follow. So let me share. There are two events. So and that I'm inviting you all to. So the event that I'm hosting, this community conversation, that is a Sunday. November 12th is a Sunday. And then on Saturday, I am participating in a panel at this event. It's the Afrofuturism event. It is visual art, music, theater, film, food, dance. They are having a panel discussion that I am participating in. It's not all tiny houses. I should have had the description. Hang on, let me get the description for this panel. But I am inviting you all to participate in this as well. Get the official. All right, it's a panel discussion with myself and one, two, three other people, moderator. The panel discussion is called The Spaces Within. It's a discussion of how Black people operate from the past, present, and future in spaces that are either designed for us or not designed for us, and then everything in between. So one of the panelists is involved in film and TV. One of the other panelists works with, he has an organization called the Males Place, and he works with men, young boys and men in so many initiatives, providing life skills to young Black males. And then there's someone who is documenting the ongoing gentrification of Charlotte, and then me participating from the tiny house movement perspective and as an advocate for alternative forms of affordable housing. So that is the panel discussion. It is, again, the spaces within. This is on Saturday. I am going to drop the link for tickets for this event in the chat. I don't know exactly, let's see, I'm getting ready to tell a lie. The panel discussion is going to be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on that Saturday. The event is from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And this panel discussion is taking place from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I just dropped the link for it if you're interested in participating. I'd love to have you join that on Saturday. And then again, this event that our community get together is on that Sunday, and it is from 1 to 6 p.m. So a question is, will these events be on Zoom? So the event on Saturday, I am not sure. I don't believe that event will be on Zoom. And I kind of considered maybe that there'll be a portion of the event on Sunday that I might share on this platform that I use here, that I might display a portion of the event because it's a Sunday, and usually I'm participating with the community on Sunday. So I might do the Sunday session ahead of it because this usually happens at noon. I might go ahead and do the noon event here on YouTube and then just be in physical community from 1 to 6. Or I might delay it and maybe have a bit of that event on YouTube and share just a small portion of it. I really want to be able to participate in person with the people that can attend. So I want to be in present and in that moment. So the entire event will not be on Zoom. And then let's see, I saw another question. So that's November 12th. So that was my homework that I had to follow up. So the next two locations after that I am working on, the second location will be DC, and then the third location will be Atlanta. And I'm working on dates and locations for those events. And then let's see, what else do I have to answer about those events? Hello there. Oh, Judith is saying, can I add an answer to your question? I don't know what's happening with my add-ons. I don't know why they're staying on the screen, but anyway, Judith is saying, can I add an answer add to your answer, I don't have a company yet that builds tiny houses. Okay, Judith, thank you. Um, I agree with that. There is some work that I'm doing, trying to gather a consortium of Black builders, because that is one of the big questions I'm always asked. Do I have a builder? And for us, for our communities, so often we're looking for a Black builder. So and somebody watching this outside of the community will say, "Oh, that's racist," and I'm not here to defend that. But if we don't use our community and spend our money within our community, often the support isn't happening. So that's what I do. So I'm not addressing that, but I am trying to pull together a consortium of Black builders. I have shared the app that I'm working on, um, to supplement the partnering, for tiny house placement for Black landowners, Black and Brown landowners, property owners, farmers, and Black and Brown tiny house owners. That connection. So I have been doing that manually, and now I am working on an app to facilitate the matching of those two parties. And the app will also offer information about builders, about people who are interested in building communities, and then also provide information for people who are selling tiny houses. So I want it to be a big resource, a main resource, for the community, and it will be Black centered. It will be a resource for everyone, but it will be Black centered, so that you will be able to know that companies are Black owned. You'll be able to know that properties are Black owned. And that goes back to the reason why I started doing the matching in the first place, for safety, as I've had to relocate my home from rural areas where I was not safe. And so there's a need for that information and that work. And so that will be part of it, as the app is developing. And I don't have a date yet for the app. I meet again with the developers on Tuesday. I think I said hi to you from Chris Charm City. Hello, welcome from Virginia. Yet, okay, thank you, Michelle. Hello from Virginia Beach. That app, the app is going to be a valuable tool. Absolutely, that's the way I see it. It is, as I think about it, it is, as I'm developing it, it is the app that I wish had been available as I was starting out in the movement. So all of the work that I try to do here, the workshops that I offer, the consultations that I offer, all of the work that I try to do, I try to offer it from the lens of what is it that I needed, or what is it that I wish had been available as I was navigating this space early on, and an opportunity to share what I've learned over these years, what I've experienced over these years, to help others as they're navigating this, to potentially avoid major challenges, or even danger, and have access to information and facilitate a lot of the conversation, because there's really um, no place, one central place for this information right now. And so being able to facilitate that information as like a one-stop shop, so that people are able to get what they need, and navigate this space a lot easier, is my entire goal. So thank you. I think it's going to be, I know that it's going to be valuable as well. Um, let's see, what else do I have to talk about today? So I shared that I am in Myrtle Beach. So I don't know how many of you follow Stephanie Perry. I think I spoke about her a couple of weeks ago. Stephanie is doing work with helping Black women who are interested in leaving the United States make that transition. Um, and this weekend, she and her co-founder Rashida are have the Exodus Summit happening, and this is the fourth year for their Exodus Summit. And the Exodus Summit is a 3 day event of sessions, informational sessions, the speakers. So it started Friday evening. They had like a kickoff, and then um, Octavia Rahim, I believe is her last name. She works around resting. Because and spoke about how rest is part of our liberation. Like we've not been um, society says that resting is lazy. We're conditioned to always be moving, and from if we even take it back to days of enslavement, to rest or relax or not do anything was obviously going to be something that resulted in trauma. So our conditioning, our genetics don't allow us to rest, and often that is on to our own personal demise. So she kicked off the session, and then yesterday on Friday, and then I'm about to lose my day. So yes, Saturday was a full day of sessions. Fabulous, fabulous sessions. Rachel Cargill, the author, was the keynote speaker yesterday. Um, Sessions are happening today, and then tomorrow is a full day of sessions and the closeout of the sessions. And Tabitha Brown is the keynote and is closing out tomorrow. This is my second or third time, um, I can't remember, attending the Exodus Summit. It has gotten better and better each year. This time I took off Friday and I took off Monday because I wanted to focus on the information. Like earlier today, there was a session on using AI to navigate jobs. And I have shared that I really, 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 to infinity plus a Google, want to transition from working in corporate America to be able to work in this space of tiny houses and affordable housing and housing advocacy and the consulting and the education that I do. I want to be able to do that full time, and that's where my joy is. That's where my passion is. That is where I feel like I can affect change. That's where I feel like I can. I feel like that's my calling. But I haven't been able yet, and I'm adding the word yet for those of you who are going to get me straight. Haven't yet been able to figure out how to monetize that so that it covers my expenses like I need my expenses to be covered. So I still am working in corporate America, and it is killing part of my spirit. No, a big part of my spirit, um, because that's not my love. That's not what I want to do. And so there was the session on AI of writing your resume using AI, and um, just the tips and things that I hadn't considered, and ways for me to navigate it so that I can figure out possibly how to transition into the work that I want to do. So it was very valuable. Um, I think it's a break right now, but there's some other sessions this afternoon. And I actually specifically came to Myrtle Beach because I wanted to be in a space, because I'm really, like I shared on Instagram, for those of you that follow me, I am in a space of trying to really brainstorm and make that transition and make it sooner than later. Every day I keep thinking, Jewel, you cannot quit your job. You don't have a backup plan. But I really want to quit my job. And so this weekend I came here so that I could sit in a space, and I've been brainstorming, working on my stuff, which is how you see the community conversation. I worked on getting that set up. I'm working on some other things that I have on my to-do list that I've not gotten focused on yet. I've got the book on my to-do list that I want to write. I've got so many things that I want to do, but I just haven't, like, my energy is kind of off because I want to do this full time, and I've kind of got a block that I'm not doing it full time, and so I can't really, like, I don't want to half-ass it, so I'm not doing it because it's not happening full time. I think it's kind of what my block is. So I would encourage anyone who is interested in, so the theme of the Exodus Summit this year, I want to make sure I tell it right. It is around um, location freedom, financial freedom, and time freedom for Black women. It's the Exodus Summit. Once you, even though it's been going on, if you participate in it, if you register for it, you get access to all of the sessions, and you get access to the sessions for a year. So you have access to catch up on them, replay them. You also have a way to access previous years as an add-on if you're interested. Um, Last year, I think the theme was about finding remote work. Everything so far, like I consider Stephanie and Rashida friends, and I gave them a shout out because, um, it's almost like, how do you keep topping what it is that you're offering? And this year is just the pinnacle of a beautiful experience. So next year they're going to have a hard time topping this, but I know that they will because it has gotten better and better each year, and this year is just fabulous. So if you're interested, this plug, I obviously don't get paid for, but they're my friends. I would encourage you, if there's any interest in any of that. And people are sharing their stories, and so it's a way to um, build community. Like, there are people, like yesterday, there was a breakout session. They had something that they were calling salons. And so there was a breakout session for Black women who were interested in RVing and van life. And so it wasn't a hosted session, but it was just a session where women could get together on Zoom and chat about their interest and make connections. And so I went to that session and kind of listened in and shared information because, again, y'all know I wasn't trying to take over the session. Um, None of the ladies there are van lifers, or they're aspiring. And so I was able to share some information because, that's my love. So um, if you're familiar with it, and maybe on the fence, I would encourage you to look into it. If you aren't familiar with it, it's the Exodus Summit. It's on Instagram. You can Google the Exodus Summit. I'm sure I can find a link somewhere. I'm pretty sure I dropped a link last week or a week before. But I would encourage you, if you're interested, to do that. Let's see. Um, Sheila says, I'm interested in affordable tiny home in an eco community or collective. Um, I had a conversation yesterday with two Black RV park owners who are considering opening up part of their parks to tiny houses. And so I am going to have a conversation with them, one, because that's the folks that I want to have included in the app that I'm developing, and also to share their information with you all and to help them promote the work that they're doing as much as I possibly can. So, um, Sheila, that's what we're here to do and talk about. And so, welcome. Hey, Dave, welcome, welcome. Yes, Sheila, a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous platform. Um, and we do need to rest. Absolutely. Absolutely. Octavia Rahim, if you're on Spotify, I swear I want to make sure that I think that's her last name. I hate to have said something wrong. Let me see. Um, if you are on it is, I was right. Octavia Rahim. If you're on Spotify, she has a playlist that she put together for the Exodus Summit. So if you're on Spotify, find it. It's beautiful. Um, back to the land, micro homesteading is the future. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Yes, I am saying Exodus Summit. Well, look who showed up. Hi, Robert. Teresa says, I went to an event Thursday for winter about women in AI. It was awesome. AI is, I mean, we've been using, so AI, being familiar with AI, it sounds like a new concept, but it is absolutely something we've been using for so long. Google searches, trying to find flights. You want a flight from this place to this place. That's AI. Um, Companies have been using AI, and we've been using it as a result, just not necessarily knowing it was AI. And now they've got the Chat GPT and so many other things that are available to us to use. Um, our counterparts have been using it for quite some time. I realized within my work space that my counterparts had been using it for for a long time to help them create the work that they were responsible for, and I was disappointed I had been late to the game. Obviously, if you're using it at work, you can't put proprietary information in chat, but the part of what was shared earlier today was like having you've got your resume that you've written, and if you haven't had it professionally written, using Chat GPT, entering your resume information in there and having Chat rewrite it for you. It's your work. You've done the work. Chat rewrites it so that it has a more professional spin to it. Or using Chat GPT to help you tailor your resume specifically to a job, because you've got the credentials, but maybe your resume isn't tailored specifically to how they're asking, and so Chat then pulls that out for you. Um, there were so many tips in this series and ways to use Chat GPT that and other she shared some other versions of AI that I wasn't aware of. I got a whole list over here to help me figure out how to transition and the work that I'm doing, and help me figure out how to do that. Why, if there are resources out there to help us, why not take advantage of it? Just the way I'm seeing, like, um, kind of like I feel like I have a whole assistant with Siri. Like now, I don't even now you just say Siri, um, and you don't have to say Hey Siri. You say Siri, and Siri asks me what I need. I got a whole assistant for some stuff, and when I'm driving, I need to make an appointment. I love it. If I can if it can help me make my life easier, that's where I am trying to go right now. Okay, so Michelle, and I do have something to talk about. Is it a good idea for a tiny home to be built out of shipping containers or just regular house material? That's going to be a personal preference. It's either or. Um, you can build out of a shipping container. Um, Sometimes that can be cheaper, so you could, if you don't have a preference either way, you could compare pricing. A shipping container might be cheaper for you. A shipping container is going to be something more that you put on foundation, obviously. And then a tiny house, or a tiny house on foundation, is a different process. But a tiny house on wheels, like my house, is again going to be preference. Either option is going to be fine. If you, like I said, if you don't have a preference, it might, or if you're not interested in moving it either, you would, financial considerations would probably be the best reason that would decide which way you go. Um, oh, Robert says he's going to be on his best behavior today. Okay, Robert. Um, Hey, Keisha. Absolutely. Check out the Exodus Summit. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event. Will is asking, where is this RV park? I'm currently looking for an RV park or a tiny home. So I will share. One of the people who is interested, potentially interested in opening his RV park up to tiny houses was a guest on the show, and I'll drop the link to the episode, but he was a guest. Let me see which show he was on. He was a guest. I didn't ask you the question. His park is Triple RV Park. I couldn't remember the name of it. AJ. It is in Texas. I'll drop the link to his video where I interviewed him, and then I can share the information about his part. The other gentleman, I don't know him, and but I'll also share a link to several RV parks that I am aware of, and his park is Worthen Park, and I know it's included in that information. So I'll drop all of that information in the video description once this goes live. You may want to consider an online presence called Mighty Network. A couple of coaches I follow use it. So yes, I was 2 years ago partnering with someone, and we were considering an online presence through Mighty Networks. Had started getting this set up and everything. Right now, it is the work. Like, I have an idea in the back of my head. The work that it would require for me to do it, the way I want to do it, is more full-time work. Like, I don't want to half do anything. So it is like on the list of ways I could build out a community. It's also kind of pricey, but it's like a stepping stone for the work that I want to do, and it absolutely would allow me to build community and also bring in some money. So it's like, after the app that I'm working on developing, this is kind of next step to something I would consider. So yes, thank you for that, Leslie. I am familiar with Mighty Network. There's another one too, and I can't think of the name of it, that is on the level of that. I think a lot of people were leaving Mighty Networks for and heading to. Here's something interesting, Jewel. Love you. Thank you. I've been reading about reparations land in a book called Farming While Black by Leah Penniman, owner of Soulfire Farm. Any thoughts? So there are several organizations that are doing and pushing toward the land reparations. A lot of the Black land trust organizations, Black farmer land trust organizations, that is the work that they're doing. And when I was in Seattle, I made a connection with a group that's what they are doing. A lot of it is in urban spaces, even urban buildings. Like, it's not just land they're working on in the urban spaces. I'm for it 100%. Like, we're past due owed reparations, and organizations that are working to acquire that. Um, there's actually an organization in Charlotte that I've been trying to connect with the owner on, but I agree with that 100%. It is going to, it obviously is not something that they're going to willingly hand to us. And so if there's an organization in your area that is doing that work, I absolutely agree with it. And I would say get involved and support it. Yep. Yes, Leslie, thank you. Thank you for that information. Yes, I'm very familiar with um, Mighty Networks. Teresa, thank you. I was wondering what the winter part was. So, Women in Technology and Communications event. Shipping containers can be put on a trailer. They can. It's the process to do it is extensive. Um, I know someone who did it. It was an extensive process, but they can be put on a trailer. Absolutely. Um, Sheila is saying, yes, I've considered shipping containers too to be on foundation with land purchase. If you are interested in navigating easier with um, cities and counties, that is going to be the easiest way to put it on foundation, and not necessarily the least expensive way, which is why people often do tiny houses on wheels, to kind of get around the cost associated with foundation and permitting and all of those things. Um, but yes, let's see. There are some great used shipping containers on eBay. There are, and I always caution to try to figure out to find out what was used, what was shipped in that container, because chemicals and things that can be shipped in containers aren't the best containers for full-time living. So trying to figure out what was shipped in that container is probably something that you'll want to try to gather that information on from a health perspective. I hope your app will include containers and shed installers for, I think if you're talking about builders, yeah, from the building perspective, absolutely. I won't limit who can participate in it. For the matching, um, for land, property ownership and matching of tiny houses, it is strictly for tiny houses on wheels, stick-built tiny houses on wheels, because of the nature of this is for parking locations, so temporary locations. It's not for land sale where it would have to be on foundation. It is also not necessarily to involve officials. So trying to be under the radar with structures that are more similar to housing is the reasoning behind that. But as far as container and shed installers and people who work in those arenas, absolutely, they are more than welcome to participate. Um, yes, Casey, that is exactly what I just said. Knowing what was transported in that shipping container is going to be important for health purposes. And yes, the foundation. Let's see. Rachel is saying, you know of any cooperative land trust opportunities in North, South Carolina, and Tiny House Inclusive? Is the Center for Air Properties Rights a viable possibility for land community and cooperative economics? I am not familiar with that organization. Um, at this point, I think I only know of one in North Carolina, but I can possibly, I'm not making any promises. Um, I can possibly Google it and see if I can drop a link. I'm not making any promises on that one, but I'll try to. Um, Teresa is asking, have you seen the tiny homes on wheels that can be detached from the platform part? And if so, are they really expensive? I think that you're talking about kind of park models that they bring in on wheels and then they remove so it's not built on the wheels. It's more of I think it's called a skid, where it's placed on the wheels for transportation and then they take them off of the wheels. If that's what if we're talking about the same thing, park models, no, they're somewhere in the same price range for tiny houses that are built on the wheels. Um, they are they're generally wider than the tiny houses that are built on a tiny house like mine. They aren't as tall as tiny houses, and they kind of follow some different rulings on placement. Park models placement is a little bit is a little bit easier because they are built by government entities. They're involved with um, government entities. So the rules around them are a little bit different. So I see someone asking me about the Seattle co-op organization. I'll have to find the name of it and I will include that in the details. Okay, so Robert is asking, since we Black folk are notoriously picked over for jobs and with the population growing, do you think artificial intelligence is the best way for Black Americans to advance? Um, I don't know that I would say it's the best way. I think it, and I don't want to say it helps level the playing field either, and especially as they're working very hard to get rid of a affirmative action, even though affirmative action benefits white women, mostly. I think it will help in that it provides a service like professional. So we talked about in this session today, their artificial AI to um, like Google interview, Google prep, or Google warm up, I think it was called, interview preparation. There's a service that will write your cover letter. There's an app that will apply for jobs for you. And so I think that helps us in ways that our counterparts have paid for before. They've had the funds to pay for those services. They've had the funds to pay for, headhunters to support their job search. They've had the funds to pay for professional resume writing, and we've not always, not all of us have not always had access to that. So I think utilizing some of that helps us in ways that we've possibly not had before. I don't know that it's the best way. Like the best way, in my opinion, is for the systems of oppression and white supremacy to not be in existence, is the best way. But I think it helps for sure. For sure. Um, yes, I did answer the question about reparations, land. Sorry. Yes, Teresa Skid. Okay, so Marty knows about that center in South Carolina. Park models under 400 square feet are still considered RV, so most places won't allow them on land over 399. They're regular manufactured homes, which is what I was saying in park models are generally larger than 399 square feet, and so they can be allowed in mobile home parks, etc., where tiny houses on wheels cannot. So when I was saying that they have more access to placement, that's it. That's exactly what I was saying. Sheila is saying, I don't like lofts or ladders. I wish tiny homes were more ranch style. Um, and you like my stairs. It's all in your design. A tiny house on wheels does not have to have a loft. You can absolutely build the bedroom downstairs. In a Google search, you can search for tiny houses with first floor bedrooms, and you'll see that design is more frequent now because people aren't interested in ladders or stairs. Or they'll have this landing um, that is like oh my God, what is the name of my trailer? A third wheel trailer. There's a fifth wheel. I can't think of the another name of it. Robert knows. But those, if you build on that type of trailer, then you can build a little landing so that you don't have to have stairs, because that trailer reduces the height that you can have because of the way it's manufactured. And I talk about that in design, and there's a design video. Yeah, fifth wheel. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But there's also another name of it. I'll drop the link to my design video. But using that type of trailer, you can build a different type of bedroom that isn't as high as a loft. Gooseneck. That is exactly. Thank you, C. That's exactly the word I was looking for. And you can build a um, design a bedroom that is not as high as a loft and not deal with stairs um, like um, like a number of tiny houses. Um, all right, so I did actually want to share um, a tiny house with you all. And I've mentioned her name, Dominique Moody. This is my friend Dominique. Um, Dominique is Dominique built her tiny house around the same time that I built mine, early before the tiny house movement was a thing, especially before the tiny house movement was a thing for us. I have partnered with Dominique on Tiny House Trailblazers. I created Tiny House Trailblazers and invited Dominique to do some of that work with me as we wanted to provide a space for us to see ourselves in the movement. And so I consider Dominique friend. I adore her. She's one of the most fabulous storytellers. And she is from the DC area. She currently is in the LA area. She's lived in that area for a very long time. And I got a chance to connect with her yesterday to catch up. And I mentioned her name a few times ago because I really want to have her here to share her story of her tiny house. Um, but she's an artist, so she's her work is on display in LA right now. And I'm gonna go visit her beginning of November. So of course I'll um, take lots of pictures and video and share with you. And then possibly while I'm out there, maybe I can have her on that Sunday. But Dominique Moody um, is her name. And so Dominique is an assemblage artist. Like she's a real deal artist. And so she uses objects to tell stories. And so the object that you see here first was her first concept of a tiny house on wheels. And you see the bottles around the tiny house on wheels. This is on display in a museum somewhere. I forgot which museum it is. Her work is presented in museums. And so she does a lot of things with beautiful glass bottles. Um, the I think what is it, do they call them wind trees? Where you've seen the limbs and the trees that have beautiful glass bottles on them, and it has a lot to do with ancestry and spirits and things like that. But she does um, work like that. So this is was her first concept of a tiny house on wheels, and then she built this next one. So this one was not a livable tiny house on wheels. It was a bigger concept, and this was like tiny house version 2.0 before she actually built her tiny house. And again, this piece is also on exhibit in a museum. And so this is Dominique's tiny house. And when I tell you her tiny house is fabulous, like fabulous is an understatement. And so that's Dominique sitting on the front porch. And her house, so like I said, she is participating in an exhibit in LA right now. It's called Made in LA 2023. And let me see, I'm going to go back to that other picture. So this is the interior of Dominique's house on the left-hand side. And to the right is a truck that she has that she doesn't use it full time to pull the house, but she has used it to pull the house. And it's a 1950 Ford box truck. And you see her tag on the truck. I think the tag on the truck says Nomad 45, and I think the tag on her tiny house says Nomad 46. So she is the sixth of nine children. She was born in Germany, and when she talks about her story, she talks about how her um, family was nomadic, and she called nomadic as a way to, I guess, like make lemons out of lemonade, because they often were required to move from displacement. And so her tags represent the number of times that they moved nomadically. Um, Sandra is saying you all don't see photos. Do you all not see photos? I'm sharing my screen. Can y'all really not see photos? Okay, I'm gonna pause because you should see photos. Let's see. We can't see photos. Hold on, let me see. Now y'all see photos? Lord. Do y'all see photos now? Still no photos. All right, let's see if this works. No, we can't see them. What is happening? All right, hang on a second. Let's see. Okay, do y'all see me? Okay, y'all see me. Robert said he saw some photos. Wait a minute now. What's happening? Okay, do y'all see photos now? We're gonna try this again. Okay, somebody, y'all saying yes, I see you. Okay, let me start again. Let's go back. Let me rewind. All right, this is Dominique Moody. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize you all couldn't see photos. My bad. This is Dominique Moody. She's a very good friend of mine. She is an assemblage artist. She uses objects to tell stories. And so this is her looking out of her tiny house. So her tiny house, the majority of her tiny house is built from reclaimed materials. So her looking out of her tiny house right now, that is the window on her tiny house. Can anybody tell me in the chat what her window is made out of? Does anybody recognize that? Thank you, Robert. Anybody know what that is? I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes and see if anybody answers in the chat before I tell it. So somebody did see some pictures if you saw the old truck. Okay, so I don't see an answer. Does anybody know what this is that she's looking out of? Okay, Keisha is saying now I see. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more minute before I tell y'all what this is. Oh, why? Absolutely. Oh, a dryer door, washer dryer door. One of those from a commercial washer or dryer. Somebody said a submarine window. Okay, no, it's not a submarine window. This is a commercial washer dryer window that she has used in her tiny house. And so, like I said, she's a real deal artist. And so this was the picture that I was sharing in the first place where I was saying this was Tiny House 1.0, a concept that she built. And so she, like when I was saying, she uses objects to tell stories. And so she uses bottles, beautiful, beautiful glass bottles. And I saw somebody else say that they were familiar with the bottles from the movies Daughter of the Dust. That is something that is deep in our history, that I think was used as um, ancestry, spirits, as lives were lost to um, reflect on that during times of enslavement. I don't want to tell a lie and act like I know all the details, but I know it's something similar to that. So that was Tiny House 1.0. And then her second, and this is on display in a museum. This is Tiny House 2.0, where she built a bigger version of a tiny house. It is also on display in a museum. It is not a livable tiny house, but this was as she was building up to what her plan for her tiny house. And then this is her tiny house. And so the side of her tiny house is metal that has patinaed, and that is like the coloring as it rusts and changes colors. And she's used um, I don't know what the solution was on the side of the metal to make the colors, like the colors are reflecting are like reflecting mountain ranges. The window that she has on so she has the dryer, washer dryer windows, and then the other window that you see is from either a train or a bus, or subway, the subway or something like that. That's the other window. So like I said, the majority of her home is built from reclaimed materials, and Dominique built her home has this amazing front porch because, as again, she's a storyteller, and so storytelling happens, especially in the Black community, from the porch, and that is something that was very important to our communities, having a front porch and gathering and telling stories on the front porch. And so right now she is participating in an event in LA. If anybody's in that area, um, and this is the interior of her house. So it's beautiful, beautiful pine on the left hand side. Very beautiful, beautiful pine. And again, she built her tiny house herself. The silver that you see for her shelving, again, that's from the subway, a train. I really think it was a subway. And so that's the interior where she reclaimed that material. Um, I can't think of, like, I'm gonna drop, I have a link to a video I'm gonna drop in the chat where you can watch a video. It's like a quick 7-minute video of her house. And if you Google Dominique Moody, you'll see several videos that come up. But I was sharing that her family was nomadic, having had to move because of displacement. So she's moved 46 times, I think it is. And so her tags represent that movement, that the nomadicness of her life. So Nomad 45 is on this 1950 Ford truck, and then her tiny house has the tag Nomad 46, I believe. And so this event is currently happening at the Hammer Museum, which is in LA. I'm going to go out and visit her in, I think I'm planning for like the first weekend of November. She's added, her house is kind of on the side of the street on the back of the Hammer Museum. And so she's added a covering of sorts over that front porch to secure it. So since it's sitting on the street, and it is, oh my God, just this covering. She sent me some pictures yesterday, and I can't share them yet. But it is just so beautiful, this covering that is added to the front of it to secure it. It's removable. She thinks, again, she's an artist, so she thinks things through so um intricately and delicately, and it just ends up being a beautiful, beautiful work of art. And her home is a beautiful work of art. Like, um I her house was on display 3 or 4 years ago at Xavier College in New Orleans, and I got to go down and visit. Um, and she had some other work on display at Xavier, and she was there for a while, so I got to go down and visit during the opening of the exhibit, and um, and her truck was there too. Had lunch in her house, and it was just such an. And we also hosted an event over that week. We did a workshop and we did an event. But it was just such an honor, like, to be in her house. Like, it is, like, when people, I've shared before, when people ask me, do you bring your house to events? And I'm like, there's no way in the world I would bring my house to an event. Like, I'm very um, selective about who I let in my house. And there's no way I just, the reverence I think is the word that I have for my home. I would never, never, ever take it to a place and just let people traipse through it. And no shade on anybody who does. It's just my personal preference. Um, her house, and she's lived in her house for a while. She also shares it as part of an art installations. Still very, very cautious about who can enter her home and how they enter her home. And like I was getting ready to say, just sitting in her home having lunch was just like a complete honor. It's it the vibes of her home. It's just beautiful. And I shared the link. You can see more of her home there. A quick Google, Dominique Moody, will show you her house and her story and some other art she's created. And I will be able to share more of her home after I visit and once the more pictures are available. The stuff that she shared with me yesterday were her own private pictures. So I want to be respectful of the art installation. Um, all right, that was my share, and I think one of the things that we there was a question about a few minutes ago about a bedroom on the first floor, and so one of the things and what's important is I share Dominique's house and as I share my house, it is so much about design and your house. Dominique's house is an extension of her. I think of my house as an extension of me. You don't have to buy a cookie cutter tiny house. You can design the house for you and your needs. I feel like people who do that are so much more successful than letting someone else dictate your design for you if you don't have to. That's, it's not an option for everybody, and I get that. But for long term happiness, long-term success, it is something that is important, or at least having some input into how the home is designed. I feel like it is something that um, is something that it's really valuable. Day is asking about the November meetup. So I'll share that again since you asked. Let me get back to my picture. So I'll make sure y'all can see it. All right, there it is. Yes, it is confirmed. It is November the 12th, Sunday, November the 12th from 1 to 6 p.m. Charlotte is our first location. My next locations I'm looking into are DC and Atlanta. I am dropping the link again to purchase tickets for the event. Um, I also share, so this is Sunday from 1 to 6. And then I also, uh-oh, is the link not working? All right, hang on. Let me navigate and figure out why the link isn't working. While I try to talk, y'all know multitasking isn't my best thing, but I'm gonna try this out. Um, let's see. Sorry. The other thing, as I try to figure out what's happening here, I had invited you all to this event that is happening on Saturday, the day before the event. It is, I'm participating in a panel that's happening. So this is an all-day event that happens from 11 to 7, and I am participating on a panel that is from 1 to 2. And I'll drop the link for this event if you're interested in participating in both events. I am only a panelist in this event that I'm sharing here. I am not involved with the event outside of that, so it's not my event. I'm just a panelist from 1 to 2. This is my event. Okay, so I am able to, it looks like it's working for me. It gives me the option to pay with a credit card, PayPal, or Google Pay, and I can place the order. Um, Teresa, I was able to without signing in. So it looks like you have been able to get into the event. Sandra, not able to access your ticket info to pay once I sign in. I'm not sure what's happening. I see it's live. It looks like it has all of the options. Um, so I'm not sure what's happening. Like it's nothing I know how to navigate. So Sandra, maybe I can speak offline. If somebody else is able to access it, then maybe it's something on your Eventbrite site um, challenge, but maybe it's not a problem with the entire thing. Um, Sorry, I'm not being very helpful there. Um, all right. Oh, Robert, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Have I ever considered modeling as a side hustle? I haven't, but maybe I need to if it will allow me to get out of corporate America. Um, maybe I should look into that, Robert. Um, let's see. Um, Day is asking, is it at a hotel? If not, what is the closest five-star hotel? Day, it is at a co-working space in Charlotte, not very far from the airport. And I am going to ask you to do your Google work to find the hotels in the area. I promise you, I'm not dropping that link. Um, it is close to the Charlotte airport. Charlotte is it's not far from downtown either. If that helps you um, find locations. And so Teresa is saying I'm going to drop the link again in case I added it incorrectly. But I think it's working. Um, all right, that's it. That's all I had. Thank you, Judith. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I actually had some sharing of tiny house stuff for you all today. I have reached out. So Teresa, I've reached out to the person you recommended to me for an interview. I've not heard back from him. I have a family who lives in a tiny house that they're um, choosing a date, and then we'll be able to talk to them. And then on the 22nd, I do have a guest. So um, y'all just bear with me as I try to navigate the space and find some folks to interview and share, and hopefully have some good information that keeps you all engaged in the intro. Um, all right, that's all I got. I hope this was enjoyable. I appreciate the time and the sharing of space. And I've got some follow-ups I will drop in the video hopefully by end of day today. Um, and that's it. Anything else? Let me check to see if I missed any comments or questions. Let's see. Oh yeah. Can I point, can you point us in the direction of finding a tiny home, financing, location, builders, etc.? I have shared that information, but oh, I got a thumbs down from somebody. I will share it again. My list of recommended builders, and my list is small, so those are the ones that I am familiar with. If you, I also did a video on finding a builder with some recommendations. So I will drop the link to that as well. And I'll share the information that I have around financing and the options for financing. So yes, I can do that. And then I also have some videos where I've talked about that in more detail. So I'll share all of that. I will share links to Dominique's information in the video as well. But I think I've covered all of the questions and comments. Thank you, Sheila. I'm glad. A future episode on tiny house building workshops. I think I need more detail on what the ask is there on tiny house building workshops. I have some workshops that are for sale. I can drop the links to that. I'm not sure what the episode on workshops would be about, but maybe if you drop me some more information, I can tell you if that's something that I could do. Thank you, Teresa. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle is co-signing Robert's um, Robert's suggestion. All right, that's it. I am going to do my closeout. I don't see anything else. Um, Casey is saying, everybody go like the video before signing off. Jewel did not pay me to say this. Yes, please like the video. Oh, actually learning how to build a tiny house. So I have some videos where I talk about building a tiny house. I'll add all of those links. I'll also add the links to my the workshops. I've done that work. And so it won't be something I can cover in an hour, but I'll provide the links where I've shared information that you can you can find that information. Hey, Crystal. Um, thank you, Robert. Robert agreed. Robert said he was on his best behavior, and he was. Um, Welcome, Crystal. Glad to have you. All right, let me do my closeout. Thank y'all. Happy Sunday. Let me change to the right video. Keisha, good to have you here again. That's not what you all supposed to be seeing. That's where I was troubleshooting. All right. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Let's try this again. Here we go. There we go. All right. Thank you all so much. Again, this has been the What's Your Question segment where I try to answer frequently asked tiny house questions, share information, and I hope that you, as you've already been encouraged, you will like this video, you'll like the channel, subscribe to the channel, all of those things. Turn on the notifications so that you'll know when live content is available, and share this video so I can get some more traction over here on my channel. Michelle says, to the new folks, it is really beneficial to view Jules' previous videos. They are invaluable. Thank you, Michelle. I am out here trying to do this work. I will share the links, but this is video 29 of information that I have shared. I did have specific topics, so I'll share some of those topics, but yes, please, please, please watch those videos. Um, we need to meet Robert. Yes, we do. The event, is this a virtual or in-person event? If you are speaking to the event on November the 12th that I have shared and have shared the link, I'm going to put this over here on the screen. This event right here is in person, November the 12th, Sunday, November the 12th from 1 to 6 in Charlotte. Charlotte is our first location that we are having the in-person meetup. DC, Atlanta are next. And so would love to have you join us at that event. Yes, Robert should come to the event. It is November. Hi, Shirley. Welcome. All right. That's all I got. Y'all have a good day, and I will talk to you next Sunday. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.